Hello and welcome to Odds on CONMEBOL Qualifiers for the World Cup Match Day 2. We had a very successful first match day. Leo Bachanian, you nailed your ACCA, but this one, I have the feeling that it's going to be tougher. How are you, Leo?
How are you, Edu? Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm happy. If we made someone happy, I'm happy, Edu. Absolutely. But this one, yes, I do agree with you. Round 2 of fixture for the CONMEBOL qualifiers are going to be a little bit tougher, yes.
What is the most remarkable thing in match day 1? Neymar's record, Messi scoring from a free kick, Bielsa's debut with Uruguay.
The first two you mentioned are good, but I'm staying with Bielsa's debut with Uruguay. It was a joy to watch, especially the first half, Edu.
Well, we will come to the details in a bit. In the meantime, don't forget to press the like to subscribe to our channel, close to the 20k subscribers, and of course, comment the video with us. And now let's go on with the show. And also don't forget that we have an exclusive offer with 1xBet. If you register following our link and our promo code Oddspedia YouTube, you will get up to 130%. Let's see if you want to use it. In La Paz, in the stadium Hernando Siles, we have Bolivia, Argentina. When Bolivia plays away, we always bet them to lose, but be careful when they are playing in home soil. In the road to Qatar, they beat Peru, they beat Venezuela, Ecuador, and Uruguay. So they are dangerous in the Hernando Siles, Leo, and they are now hosting the world champion. Did you like that game against Ecuador in the Monumental?
To be honest, Edu, I think it was a good start for Argentina because it was a tough Ecuador that Ecuador that at no point they traveled to El Monumental thinking that they were going to be part of any World Cup celebrations. Not at all. The second half, I believe, was the best that Argentina showed on Thursday. The first 10-15 minutes were good speed on the ball, playing most of the time in Ecuador's half, but from there till the 40th minute, the display was below par, I would say. Enzo Fernandez, as a holding midfielder, was good in Qatar to fill the role of Paredes, that was not playing much at PSG, at the time. But I still believe, we all believe, I guess, that his best is on the left of that midfield. Alexis McAllister then switched with him, but only before the halftime whistle. I think Argentina looked again of taking control of the game. At that point, the contagion was not from the inside to the outside, but the other way around, from the stands to the players, because all the fans in the stadium started to chant "Muchachos," if you remember that anthem of the team in Qatar, and it was like a click. At that moment, something sparkled in the players, and they finished the first half in a good shape. Lautaro Martinez hitting the post, unbelievable what's going on with him. We talk about him like being such an amazing start in Inter, Edu, but lately, with the Albiceleste, it's getting tough for him to score. Another game that passed by without him celebrating. Second half, yes, intensity was there. Argentina won almost every duel. Romero was outstanding in defense. Scaloni said in the press conference that Romero thinks he's He-Man. I think it was a good one to describe the way he played as well. Alvarez came from for Lautaro. Di Maria came from the bench. Paredes has his minutes with Enzo to his left. But the key, where was the key? We only find the key of the puzzle with Messi. Yes, and a free kick. It's just unbelievable. In the 77th minute. Now the challenge in Bolivia is totally different. Although Scaloni staff, they usually meticulously study each match and they plan strategies according to the match ahead. On this occasion, other factors like the altitude of La Paz are influencing this clash with Bolivia. For this reason, I think Scaloni has no problem recognizing that the style of the team, which he always defends, it might change this time. This maybe in La Paz, you are more open to play a direct game, and that's going to happen because Bolivia is going to offer a direct game, and Argentina, I believe, at some point is going to have to respond with much of the same, without much elaboration, without too much build-up in the middle. I think Di Maria is very clear he's going to start. He's a player who adapts very fast and very well to the altitude of La Paz. He's always done well there. Julian Alvarez, I think, is going to start for Lautaro from the very first minute. And look at this, Edu. Although the record of goals conceded from Argentina in the World Cup qualifiers since 2020 is a very, very, very good record. We spoke about that last show. And Dibu Martinez signed another clean sheet. Of all the places where La Albiceleste can concede, that is playing in Brazil and with Bolivia in La Paz. For sure, I mean, we might go down that route. Bolivia couldn't do much, of course, in Belén on Friday. At halftime, they were 1-0 down only, but by the 15 minutes of the second half, the score was already 4-0 for Brazil. But still, as you mentioned, when you recap all the victories of Bolivia last qualifiers, the attitude of La Paz will always give them the opportunity to punish even the greatest team. Last time in the Eduardo Siles was a win for Argentina 2-1. So, Edu, I expect both teams to score.
Suffering,
Again? Yeah, both
suffering. The Argentina had to come back in that game.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. I remember that celebration of Lautaro with Scaloni running like crazy all the way to hug Lautaro Martinez. So both teams to score in La Paz. That comes with odds of 1.94. In that sense, always, what do we get in the Hernando Siles? We get goals. Goals over 2.5, odds of 1.86 could be another good opportunity. And another thing that usually occurs in La Paz, because Bolivia presses a lot, because Bolivia attacks a lot, because they are very direct, is corners. A lot of corners usually in La Paz. So I will also look at the corners market. Over 10 corners, 2.36.
All right, be careful looking down this Bolivia when they play at home. As Leo said, they won in the last visit to La Paz in 2017. They lost. Argentina lost, for instance. 2-0 is always a dangerous team, and we are insistent when we talk about the altitude, but they get the results. And also Ecuador have chosen to play in the altitude of Quito. It's not as high as La Paz, but they still can play a role here. And Ecuador, you mentioned how good they are, Leo, at the minute, putting Argentina in difficulties in that game in the Monumental. We have Ecuador, Uruguay. This is very, very, very interesting. Only Peru won in Ecuador in the road to Qatar. Even Uruguay lost 4-2, but we have a new Uruguay with Bielsa. They couldn't start better with the victory against Chile, with Valverde scoring. We have De La Cruz scoring a brace at the top of the top scorer list in the CONMEBOL qualifiers. Leo, this is so hard to predict, but the bookies put Ecuador so favorite for this game.
Yes, for me, this one, Edu, is definitely one of the best matches to look forward in round two. That game that you mentioned on the way to Qatar was amazing, the 4-2. That night or afternoon in Quito, La Tri played a beautiful football, especially the first 45 minutes. They were 4-0 up. Then Uruguay managed at least to come back with 2 goals. I think that the Chile fans shouldn't be feeling very deflated because of the defeat against Argentina. I say it again, I like what I've seen from Ecuador, a very dominant Moises Caicedo in midfield. Of course, Ener Valencia looked very much isolated in Buenos Aires, but that's not going to be the case now playing in Quito. Something that, yes, of course, they should be thinking is like, okay, we need to start getting points. Why I'm saying this only when we are playing the second round of fixtures? Because Ecuador started these qualifiers, guys, with a -3 points because of TAS deducted 3 points from them because of what happened with Byron Castillo. You remember the Ecuadorian player who got his passport with a fake birth certificate. So they started the competition or the qualifiers with a -3. Byron, what you have done. And then in Montevideo, Edu, I think we witnessed maybe one of the 2 best individual performances of the round one. One is this. The first one was from Nico De La Cruz, and the other one was from Neymar against Bolivia. De La Cruz has his best game with the Celeste, no doubt about that. He scored, as you mentioned, the 2 goals, gave an assist, and he has a reason to be excited because he's going to play a leading role until under the Bielsa Sam, to be honest. Against Chile, he reached his 20th match with La Celeste, but more importantly, he was given a leading role in the system that with Maestro Tavares or with Diego Alonso de la Cruz didn't have. I think that Bielsa grabbed De la Cruz in the right moment in his career. He's mature. He has the necessary experience. At the same time, his playing characteristics seem to adapt very well and quick to what Bielsa will need from his player. The interesting thing with De la Cruz is that when he started his career in Liverpool, Uruguay, guys, I haven't become crazy. When he started his career in Liverpool, Uruguay, he was more of a traditional number 10, not very much involved in defensive duties, but with Marcelo Gallardo, I think Gallardo managed to convert Nico de la Cruz into a very much modern midfielder. He's decisive in attack. He can, because he always managed to get into the box, into scoring positions. He generates options as well for his teammates. And today he's also one of the team's top ball recoverers. Out of possession, his work is also invaluable, Edu. And then he can manage to make a very good society midfield with Valverde and with Rodrigo Bentancur. By the time Bentancur is fit, why? They played together, for example, in the under-20s in the World Cup in 2017. That midfield in the Uruguay, in the under-20 World Cup night 2017, Uruguay reached the semifinals, was Nico de la Cruz, Valverde, and Rodrigo Bentancur. And now they're going to have for sure the time to play together in the national team. Bentancur coming back in the rounds 3 and 4 for sure next October. Okay, here, Edu, I said, you mentioned as well, Ecuador in Quito is something very, very, very different. They're going to attack a lot. They're going to try to feed Ener Valencia much more than when they manage in Argentina. So the individual market here for Ener Valencia, especially the 40 goals for the 3 for Ener Valencia. Ener Valencia to score anytime, Edu, 2.5. Playing in Quito, that sounds very attractive to me, to be honest. But we are talking about this Uruguay that show the best team performance in round 1 of fixture. Bielsa knows how to win in Quito. He's done it with Argentina on the way to the World Cup in 2002. So a double chance for Uruguay here stands with healthy odds, 1.88.
Well, remember that nor Brazil nor Argentina could win in the road to Qatar. In Ecuador, only Peru won there. So let's see if Bielsa with Uruguay can take points at least from Quito. And next game, this one, Venezuela, Paraguay, 2 teams that couldn't score in the first match day. Venezuela losing to Colombia, only 1-0. Paraguay, they deserve more against Peru. Probably they were playing against 10 men, but again, problems scoring. You highlighted this in our previous video, Leo. It became a reality also in the game against Peru.
Yes, the second half with Peru with 10 men and still. Okay, Paraguay, Edu, they managed to create opportunities. They hit the post 4 times. Pedro Gallese was the man of the match, but sometimes you had the feeling watching them, and not just against Peru, but, you know, talking for a very long time, that you're going to put Haaland in Paraguay and he won't score. You know, it would be the only case of Haaland maybe not scoring if he was playing for Paraguay. But now, you know, they traveled to a place where they took the best out in the last at least 4 times, because in the last 4 World Cup qualifiers, Paraguay won in Venezuela and they draw the other one. So at least thinking on the head-to-head and the latest matches they played each other in World Cup qualifiers, Paraguay has something to smile there, but nothing to smile, or not very much to smile when it comes to the way they are playing at the moment with Guillermo Barros Schelotto. Venezuela, in the contrary, to be honest, even by losing, they left me with a good impression against Colombia. I spoke in the previous show of Colombia being of course, the very much favorite here, the Colombia of Luis Diaz. But however, Fernando Bocha Batista's team had a good first half. They went into the match with a 4-3-3 shape, positive intentions, building from the back, and being direct after crossing the halfway line. They could have scored with Yangel Herrera in the first minutes of the match. They have another 2 big occasions to celebrate, but they lack efficacy in front of goal. I want to see, I don't know if Salomon Rondon at this time is the best option for Venezuela. I think that Joseph Martinez could be a better option now, thinking on Paraguay. And I'm building on what I'm saying of Venezuela looking very much different to many other Venezuelas that they travel to Barranquilla and only defend 90 minutes. Even the changes that Batista introduced in second half demonstrated a better intention than previous qualifying campaigns, because Jefferson Soteldo came on, because Joseph Martinez came on, Romulo Otero, all entered at the same point. The problem for them is that they started the second half very sleepy and sloppy. Rafael Santos Borré scored after 10 seconds only in the second half. And then after that, they couldn't emulate the first half. It was difficult for them to create opportunities. But overall, I think it was a good performance for Venezuela. So we have, Edu, here high odds for all possible results. Basically, we all see the same. There is no clear favorite. At the moment, we have odds of 2.92 for Vinotinto win, 2.75 for La Albirroja. So given this, I will focus on a first half draw, odds of 2.1. And within the goals market, I will look for goals under 2.25, odds of 1.88.
Well, Leo, if this is tough, we just have to take a look at the odds. This Venezuela, Paraguay. The next one is exactly the same. The odds are exactly the same. Chile, Colombia. The draw is the most likely outcome, with Colombia slightly favorites, but they only won 2 games in the road to Qatar. In Chile, they drew in the last minute, last visit, but I was checking also the head-to-head between these two teams, and it's really favorable for Colombia. Since 2009, Chile don't beat Colombia in the qualifiers for a World Cup, and probably you didn't like, again, Chile in the first match against Uruguay.
Yes, Edu, I think, yes, the odds are, I had the feeling when I was seeing them and the parity they were showing with Colombia slightly only favored. Is like 2 things. One, you mentioned Colombia away from home last qualifier was a different matter. Yes, with Chile was 2-2. And also, because the head-to-head, if you go a little bit more backward, you will find like 3 wins in total in the end in World Cup qualifiers, 3 wins for Chile, 2 for Colombia, and 3 draws, like the 2-2. All these games I'm mentioning in Santiago, those 8 games. So 3 wins for Chile, 2 for Colombia, the rest were draws. So maybe the parity is building from there with the odds. And look, it seems that it was yesterday, Edu, that we were talking about Berizzo getting sacked in Paraguay, because now if he doesn't get a good result, and by a good result, to be honest, I mean winning the game, or the very least getting a point and doing well, we're gonna start hearing the possibility of Berizzo getting sacked in Chile. So from Berizzo getting sacked in Paraguay to Berizzo getting sacked in Chile, and the problems for him didn't start on Friday against Uruguay. First, it was in friendly matches where he had only 3 victories and against very lesser rivals in terms of the level. 3 wins in 11 games. But La Celeste was far superior to Chile. Nothing worked for Berizzo, because when they were trying to press high with Núñez alongside Valdés, as they try in the first half, then Uruguay very easily jumped lines. And when they tried to press on the Uruguay wingers, Uruguay pressed through the middle, especially with De La Cruz. And again, Chile didn't have answers for that. If you add all this, that Arturo Vidal was on the bench, if you add all this, that after the game, Gary Meder, one of the most experienced players Chile has, test journalist, you will need to ask the manager why we were so conservative today. Everything paints a little picture of Berizzo being in trouble. And we don't know yet if Alexis Sanchez will play. He wasn't fit to play against Uruguay. The Chilean TV channels were like showing him like running and trying to get up to speed, but no one knows yet if he's gonna play or not. But again, it could be something that will play against Berizzo if Alexis is not there against Colombia. On the other hand, Colombia can do much better than they done against Venezuela. Yes, Borré scoring the goal, as I mentioned before, but the approach by Néstor Lorenzo didn't work for large chunks of the game. He used, especially at the beginning, like 3 or 4 wide players. So he was lacking a little bit of elaboration through the middle. That's why he corrected in the second half. He took Cuadrado out and he introduced Juan Carrascal, who is more of a number 10. But still, I believe Colombia is the favorite here to win this match, Edu. Odds of 2.72 for a Colombia win, for me, sound very, very good. Colombia to score first here, odds of 2 on average, is also a good pick for me.
Okay, Leo is trusting this Colombia to get points from the monumental David Arellano in the city of Santiago de Chile. Very interesting. Again, this match day is really, really tough, to be honest, especially going for the outright market. One of the clearest victories, let's say, if I had to put my money, it would be always in Brazil. But be careful, of course, they are playing in Peru. Brazil won here in the road to Qatar 4-2, but Peru, they are getting better and better. 4 victories and 1 draw in the last 5 games. Brazil, on the other hand, they drew in 3 out of the last 4 away games in the World Cup qualification. Leo, in Colombia, Argentina, and Ecuador. And of course, I guess everyone is talking about Neymar in Brazil. Even if he missed the penalty, he overcame Pelé as the top scorer, historical top scorer of the Verde Amarela. Even in the eyes and in the highlights is that 1-1 from the midfield, almost to score an amazing goal, actually. It reminded me to Ronaldo Nazario.
Absolutely. He had a stellar performance against Bolivia. The second half was just amazing. And to be honest, I had my doubts of like, okay, which Neymar we're going to see? After he moved to Saudi, he didn't play yet much. He needed to get much fitness. But in the end, we got the best Neymar. And I always going to think like, what could have been of Neymar if he didn't have moved to PSG. But again, anyway, I think he had a good time there. He still showed glimpses of his massive talent, but still a shame that we didn't see him staying maybe a little bit longer in La Liga. Brazil, the first half, yes, true, they went up 1-0, but it wasn't the best start for Brazil in Belém against Bolivia. But after Rafinha in the second half scored the second goal, everything gelled, and then Neymar was unstoppable. The last time they played in Lima on the road to Qatar, Brazil took the 3 points, you said, 4-2, and that included, Edu, a hack trick from Neymar. Before that match on the road to Russia, again, Brazil winning there in Lima 2-0. If we don't want to see, or if the Peruvians don't want to see Neymar scoring a hack trick or a brace, they would need Pedro Gallese delivering heroics again, like against Paraguay. He had another stellar performance in goal for Peru, Pedro Gallese. Another positive for Peru, apart from the 0-0 playing with 10 men the second half, is like I saw like a group of fringe players who, against Paraguay in Ciudad del Este, they showed that they could play a part in this team because Luis Advíncula saw a red card, because Carrillo is not in good form, because Cueva and Flores didn't even get a call, and players like Andy Polo, Marco Lopez, Wilder Cartagena, and Aldo Corso, they all play a good role, a good part in the 0-0 against Paraguay, and I wouldn't be surprised if they start again now against Brazil. But still, Brazil or favorites here, Edu. I will, and even though you mentioned those draws away from home in the last few games of the qualifiers on the road to Qatar, I still place here Brazil as massive favorites. I will pay attention again to individual market. Neymar, historical goal scorer of Brazil. He scored a hack trick last time in Lima. Neymar to score anytime, Edu, odds of 2. So again, I think it's good. and also handicap minus 125 for Brazil. That comes with odds of 1.86.
To be honest, Leo, I cannot bet against Argentina or Brazil, even if they are playing away in Lima and La Paz. They are way better than the other teams in the CONMEBOL, so it's not a good idea to bet against them, but we have really good odds. This is going to be a very interesting match day too. Remember, this is the road to the World Cup in Mexico, US, and Canada. Leo, next fixtures will be in October, exactly 1 month from now. In the meantime, let's try to see your safe bet.
Safe bet, Brazil to score first, 1.37, very conservative, but still something that usually, if not to say most of the time, tends to happen, yes.
Exactly. And the ACCA?
The ACCA, yes, is we go with Bolivia, Argentina, both teams to score, double chance for Uruguay, Brazil to score first. That leaves me with an ACCA total of 4.85.
Great, Leo. We had a comment in our previous video that you are an encyclopedia about South American football.
I didn't send him to write that.
Is the Wiki Leo. He knows everything about South American football. So take advantage, guys. Listen to Leo, and then you can reach your own conclusions. And if you want to bet, of course, you have good information and good tips. Thank you, Leo. See you soon. And don't forget, guys, to press the like and subscribe. Bye-bye.